Evening, morning, wherever you are. So this is a sort of mini review-ish. I'm not going to get one out this week. I think my kids went back to school. I might get one out tomorrow, but I don't know if I can. But I just wanted to, because we've been talking about books, and a lot of people have been saying, can you talk more about the books on your shelves? And I did a thing about the Vernon book last week. And I just got this. I got this last week. Now I'm going to embarrass myself, as always, with the pronunciation. Michal Kociolek, I think, is the pronunciation. Now, Michal, you would have seen his designs on a lot of books, actually, a lot of the Vanishing Ink books. I think he did the Darryl ones, and he did the Anthony Owen one. So he's got this really nice design, and then he came out with Polish Poker, and I did the review for Polish Poker, which I really liked. And he sent me this, and it's a booklet. It's a booklet, and I thought, oh, it's just another booklet of card magic, and it kind of is, and it isn't. And I wanted to let you know about it because it probably isn't at the moment one of the things that everybody will know about. So if you're, when I was at the session in January, I watched Danny de Ortiz, and he did one of these routines, and he had like Matt King and everybody on stage with him, like everybody that was kind of headlining the session he had around him. And he did this trick that just floored everybody. It just, hey, how you doing? It just floored everybody. And I remember everybody going, wow. And then he, as the usual thing, said how it was done, did the method, and everybody just went, oh, what? It's kind of like almost like a mathematical self-working thing. Not mathematical, but self-working, that was just covered up with this performance, and nobody had a clue. And I remember watching his DVDs, and there was some stuff in there with a similar idea. And if you look at some of the Spanish magicians, there's what was that book called? Raymond, I want to say Riobu, is it? Oh man, but he had a load of stuff like that as well. And I got quite fascinated with it because it was all stuff that I didn't think I liked. If I read a method in a book, if I read a card book and it starts talking about counting and spelling, I tend to just sort of switch off. But Michal has brought this out, and it's kind of 5 or 6, is it 5 or 6 effects? It's a booklet and not a book. And it's based 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's based on that sort of principle where there are tricks that on first blush might look quite procedural, but actually, if you look at it, it gives us room for performance. And the reason it's called plots and methods is it's because obviously it's got the methods to these tricks, but also the plots. He's given it to justify a lot of the actions in it. So I just wanted to sort of bring it to you. I'm not going to go into detail because it's a booklet. If we're going to do much detail, I'm going to tell you everything about it. But just very quickly, he's got this all-in trick, which a lot of these use like a lot of people. So you're sitting around a table of people. So he's got this trick where he gets people to sort of mix up the cards and then put them together, and he's sandwiched a chosen card within that. And I'm completely ruining that. There's more to it than that, obviously. There's this trick, Lucky You, which I actually played with, which you cut out little bits of paper and you have numbers on them, and you talk about the lottery and your lucky numbers actually being 1 to 6, and you actually add another couple of numbers, and you get someone to shake the numbers up, throw them in the air, and they land on the table, and they add the numbers up, and one of the 4 people, they've all randomly cut and shuffled things, count down the numbers that add up, and it ends up being the thought of card that somebody's seen that you haven't even seen. So it's all that kind of stuff. It's got this lovely routine with based on a Brother John Hammond principle, where it uses a dupe, but in a really clever way, with a card that's sealed in an envelope all the time on the table, and it only uses a picture, and it's just really, really clever. And these are all these sort of tricks that are gonna, if you perform them for magicians, nobody's gonna have a clue how they're done. They're really falling stuff, and it's the sort, if you went on full Penn and Teller Fallers with this kind of stuff, and you did one of these, they wouldn't know it was done, because it's very specific principles and methods that you can't really unpack. And that's the thing about all these tricks. When you do them, nobody's ever going to be able to work out how they're done. And if you can perform and act and do that and have a laugh with loads of people around you, it's going to be quite powerful stuff. And I just wanted to bring your attention, really, because I've just really enjoyed looking into it. And all these, the good thing about this is that you're going to fool people with it. They're original in the way that they're not the usual tricks that we tend to, or I tend to learn, because I'm not given the sort of the motivation to do it. And with this, I am, because it gives you the plots. And of course, you want to use your own versions, but they're all justification for these methods. The first trick, you need a faro shuffle, but everything else is really easy. It's just learning. And the reason I was going to demonstrate and do a full review, but the reason I haven't is because I need to sit with this for a little bit more time. What I will say at the end of this, it's got a presentation for Polish poker as a kind of a bonus thing. So if you've got Polish poker and you bought it on my recommendation, and you've been playing with it and you're not sure really how to bring it in and create a routine around it, this has got a really good routine around it that you can use, I only read that bit today because I read all the others and I thought, oh, well, great. So it'll give you something to play with there. So even though it's only a booklet, you're going to get quite a lot of weeks of work out of it, I think, which is quite nice. It's beautifully designed because he's a designer. And I think being a designer, I also think someone who's got an eye for detail and things that look good and make sense tend to be quite good magicians. I'm sure that's not the case all the time, but they tend to be good at choosing material that kind of works in an aesthetic way. I really like Michal's stuff, so I think it's really good. I'll put the link down below to where you can get it. At the moment he's selling it, I'm sure at some point somebody else will be selling it, and it'll be widely available. But I just thought I'd give you a shout out for that. Any questions? I know that's not a massive review, but any questions, do let me know. All right, take care.